Going live. I'm live. Oof, and I got kooky hair. Hi, everybody. Is that hair doing? How are you? Welcome to Frankenstein Tea. It is my daily program through the Island Free Library. My name is Kristen. I am the library director for the Island Free Library on Block Island. I am in that very library in the reference section. Rhode Island reference, regular reference, the ever shrinking reference section of public libraries. I bring you a short story every day and a little bit of a check-in here through this program. And generally, I bring a fiction story, a short story to the program. But today I'm going to read you a little nonfiction. And I hope that is okay with everybody out there. I'm going to read something from Carl Safina's book, The View from Lazy Point, fairly famous book. The View from Lazy Point, A Natural Year in an Unnatural World by Carl Safina. Carl Safina was just the speaker for the Block Island Maritime Institute Tuesday Night Talks. He kicked off their series. He spoke on Block Island last year. The last of their series is tonight. So if you haven't done that yet, tune in with the Maritime Institute, BIMI, to hear their tonight's speaker. I forget who it is. I could look. I think, oh, sorry, that was me hitting the screen. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you go crazy. I think I can look. I don't know what happens if I do this. If I do this, do you still see me? Dad, if you're out there, tell me if you can still see me, because I can't always tell what's happening. But since I'm trying this, I'm going to say that tonight's speaker is artist, author, and polar explorer Marlo Garnsworthy, as she shares her experiences in going south, aiming north. Her 2019 research cruise into Antarctica's Iceberg Alley. Did that work? Could I leave this screen and still be there? Maybe. That's wild. So I can leave here, because I wasn't just looking at you just then. I went to my mail, which is also up on this computer, and read to you from my mail. We'll have to try that, because that means that I could potentially read from the screen a short story while I was on there. All right, I have to check in with you all and make sure that that worked before I do that. Back to the program. This is going to be a selection today from The View from Lazy Point, A Natural Year in an Unnatural World by Carl Safina. As I said, he was the BIMI speaker. Let's see who published this book. This is signed by him. I am definitely keeping this. This is Picador, and it was published in 2011. And I was looking for something to read today. First of all, I snagged this out of the book sale because I wasn't sure the library owned a copy, and we really should. We should own this book. And so I snagged it out of the book sale. I don't even know if we own a copy or not yet, but either way, we're going to keep this one because it's signed. And I was looking through it thinking, well, maybe there would be a selection for Frankenstein Tea in here. And I'm going to read something again. This is going to be nonfiction, not normally what I do, although I have read other nonfiction before. But I was intrigued by this. This is someplace that I didn't get to with my family, but we got pretty close. I think we got as close as you can get to this place, because not many people go to this place. This is about Svalbard, and Svalbard. I was there. So how do you say it? Svalbard is in Norway. And so we were pretty far up there looking at this place. Went to a museum about this place. Although, Mom, I don't think you went to that museum with us that night. Maybe you did. I don't remember if you were there that night. But so I was a little intrigued. And this is about something else that intrigues me. So maybe it'll hold your attention today. Not sure. Here we go. A little nonfiction for you today, Tuesday, August 25th. I'll show you the map in case anybody's looking. Svalbard. I'm going to say Svalbard. Svalbard. Here we go. Travels polar. Svalbard. How would a biblical literalist count 7 days and nights here? 1 day in Svalbard lasts 4 months, and the sun never sets. 1 night lasts 4 months, and the sun never rises. The other 4 months consist mainly of either long days with short nights or long nights with short days. Here, the equinoxes, the 2 days annually with 12 hours each of daylight and darkness, really mean something. But what does a day mean here? And how many are there in a year? The islands, collectively called Svalbard, rise from the sea so far north they seem to lie beyond human thought. The latitude is nearly 80 degrees north, far beyond the Arctic Circle. Almost everywhere else in the world, this far north, you'd be in the Arctic Ocean. Mainland Norway's northernmost tip is about 500 miles south of us. Many people have never heard of these islands. Few would want to come. For those who have, and who do, it's neither easy nor hospitable. The annual average temperature is 25 degrees Fahrenheit, -4 Celsius. The record low, -51 Fahrenheit, -46.3 Celsius. Some 60% of the land is covered by glaciers and ice sheets. 27% is simply bare. Less than 10% is vegetated. The nearest tree, or even shrub, is hundreds of miles behind us on the European continent. Although Inuit people elsewhere learned to master sea ice and long crossings of the Arctic Ocean, no Aboriginal people ever got this far. But now I've come to the spare and elemental top of the world, into the music of vast silences and the heave and subsidence of a cold, dark sea. I hope to see creatures living to a different rhythm, a rhythm not of our time, though that pace too is changing. Partly, I came to this place beyond humanity to see where we're all headed. Though it's mid-July, snow flurries greet my arrival. The bubble of civilization extends here, but barely. The 2,000 residents live off coal mining. The main town, Longyearbyen, is named after the person who developed the mining, although with those 4 months of uninterrupted night and temperatures dozens of degrees below zero, it must seem a long year indeed. The people here rely entirely on food imported from lands 1,000 or more miles south. But that's not the only connection between local coal and distant places. Coal combustion is helping change the climate. Carrie Fowler is a curly-haired man who's come to this land without farming to save the future of agriculture. It's a foregone conclusion that climate change will affect agriculture, Fowler is telling me. The open question is, will agriculture adapt? Adapting a plant variety to a new region or a new climate isn't easy or quick. Temperature limits the natural ranges of many species of plants and animals. To understand how profound this limitation is, think of it this way. At the edge of a species range, each individual and each generation have the opportunity to expand just beyond the confines of their species' normal range. The rewards would certainly be great. More territory, less competition, more market share. Yet many species apparently cannot adapt to temperature regimes and climate conditions different from those to which they're already adapted. At the very least, such adaptation is not simple or certain. Just ask any dinosaur. Through what looks like a bit like a concrete reinforced cellar door in a frozen mountain, we enter a nearly 400-foot long tunnel dug through solid rock. The tunnel connects a series of cavernous storage rooms maintained at 0 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 18 Celsius. And the whole space resembles a big multi-chambered cave. This is the Doomsday Vault, the world's cold storage site for agriculture, a safety deposit box for seeds. More formally, it's called the Global Seed Vault, established in 2008 by the Global Crop Diversity Trust. Its location was chosen for its insulation from conflict, floods, and fires. And the area deep beneath this mountain is expected to stay frozen for a long time, even under projected warming. Warming is why we're in so cold a place. Crop diversity is the biological foundation of future agriculture, Fowler asserts. Agriculture is, and is not, very diversified. Out of about 300,000 named plant species, we get 90% of our food from 103 species, and we get 70% from just 3: wheat, corn, and rice. But between 200,000 and 400,000 varieties of rice exist in the world. Some grow on land, some under several feet of water. The roughly 60,000 kinds of beans include some that resist heat, others that resist bugs. Collecting the world's seeds is a new work in progress. The vault currently holds over 300,000 samples, each with about 500 seeds, so 150 million seeds. It has sufficient capacity to store 4.5 million samples, 2.25 billion seeds. The seeds themselves, nondescript, methodically bagged, labeled, and racked, are a visual anticlimax. They're the least dramatic thing about the whole enterprise. 20 years from now, Fowler says, the climate in some countries won't be anything like it is now. He shows me a graph that plots growing season temperatures in India for the past century and temperatures projected by the end of this century. During the growing season, the experienced and projected temperatures do not overlap. It won't just be on the warmer side of average. There'll be an entirely new range of temperatures, concludes Fowler. Agriculture has never seen the kind of climate that is coming. That throws food forecasts into question. Economists project a 1 to 2% increase in corn production in South Africa. That's because, Fowler explains, they simply assume the increasing yields of the past will continue. They're looking in the rearview mirror. Corn needs rain. Forecasts for coming years predict worsening African droughts. And if a corn stalk's silk dries out, you get no corn. If you look ahead and factor in climate, Fowler says, you'd predict a 30% decline in corn in South Africa. That's total yield, not per person. You'd have to take the 30% lower total yield and divide that by the number of people expected due to population growth to really see how much less food per person is likely. Corn's not the only concern. About half the world's population eats a bowl of rice every day. Rice pollination success is nearly 100% at roughly 95 degrees Fahrenheit, 35 Celsius. Rather stunningly, for every added 1 degree Celsius rise in nighttime temperature, rice yields drop 10%. At night temperatures of about 105 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius, pollination fails almost entirely. Similarly, for each 1 degree Celsius rise in temperature, corn and wheat yields decline about 5%. The National Academy of Science says temperatures increasing due to global warming will make it increasingly difficult to feed Earth's growing population. Is agriculture ready? Fowler asks. No. We've actually been losing seed diversity. It's as if, as we're facing a growing threat, we're dismantling our defenses. And where, Fowler continues, will farmers get the drought and heat-tolerant crop varieties they'll need? Not from inside their own countries. They'll have to get them from somewhere else. Somewhere else is this vault. Water requirements, light sensitivity, heat sensitivity, disease and insect resistance, all must be tuned, then fine-tuned. Even with genetic engineering, it takes about 7 years to develop a new crop variety. This vault preserves those tunnable traits from around the globe. Coded into seeds, these traits can be shipped anywhere to speed development of new varieties. This vault is the sole global response to the crisis of shrinking crop varieties in a world with a changing climate. We will need this seed bank, Fowler opines, as long as we will need agriculture. This, he adds, waving at the spaces waiting to be filled with seed samples, is a common heritage of humanity, a basic public good. Quite simply, he concludes, there is no possibility of feeding ourselves without it. Carl Safina, writing from his visit to Svalbard. Svalbard. Is there an S there? Svalbard. I've seen that seed bank. I've maybe all of us have heard about that seed bank. It's funny, right? As I was reading that, I was thinking, I chose nonfiction today for today, and I don't normally do that for people that may be new to this. It's usually a fiction selection, but I wanted to speak to the BIMI lecture series that's been happening on Tuesday nights. That will be the last one will be tonight, and to honor the work that they do. And they've had Carl Safina last year and this year, and I'm not sure if he came the year before that as well. But it sort of read a little like fiction, right? A little like sci-fi, a little bit. Had a little taste of like, could this be real? Is this real? That was my impression. Thanks for coming. That is today's episode of Frankenstein Tea. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll read some fiction for you, I promise. Have a great afternoon. Stay safe, mask up, wash your hands, keep your distance, eat well, sleep right, connect with someone you love, think kind thoughts. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Bye, Dad.